Hello, this is Dr. Mears. Today we will be learning how to solve systems by elimination where we only need to multiply one equation. So if you remember, the last time we learned elimination and we didn't have to multiply any, we just simply added and we were able to eliminate a variable. This one we're going to have to find, again, the same number, opposite signs. So remember, SNOs, same number, opposite signs. Same number, opposite signs. So if we look at number 1 here, it's negative 4x plus 4y equals 20. 6x plus 2y equals negative 30. We need to eliminate a variable. And if you look at the x's, this is negative 4, this is 6, not the same number. This is positive 4, this is positive 2. Again, not the same number. This is almost like trying to find a common denominator where you have to multiply in order to get the same number. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cross out the y's because I can multiply this bottom one by a negative 2. And when I do that, this negative and this positive will turn a negative. 2 times 2 will be 4. So it's going to turn me into having the same number opposite signs. So this one I'm just going to rewrite because I didn't do anything to it. And this one I'm multiplying by negative 2. So I'm going to have to multiply not only my y term, but everything inside. So it's going to be negative 2 times 6x, which is going to be negative 12x. Negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4y. And negative 2 times negative 30, which gives us a positive 60. And then big old equal sign and throw a plus sign in there because we do add. So now you can see that we have the same number, 4 and 4, opposite signs, plus and a minus. And again, I thought about this like creating a common denominator where these two numbers had to be the same, except they do have to be opposite signs. So you do have to think of that number. That you can turn one of the variables, the coefficient of one of the variables into. So let's add. These cross out. That's what I want to eliminate. We add negative 4x plus negative 12x, and I get a negative 16x. We're going to add 20 plus 60, and we're going to get 80. Then we're going to divide both sides by negative 16, and x is going to come out to be 5. Negative 5, because positive divided by negative is negative. Now that I have x, I'm going to go back to one of my original equations. I usually like to do the top, so let's do that one. Negative 4x plus 4y equals 20. And I'm going to use substitution because my x is now negative 5, so I'm going to substitute negative 5 in for x. Multiply 20 plus 4y equals 20. Subtract 20 from both sides. 4y equals 0. Now it's okay that this is 0. I'm still going to be going on. Divide by 4. Y equals 0 divided by 4 is 0. That's absolutely fine. I have both x and y, so I'm going to write that in an ordered pair. And if we graphed those two equations, this is where they would meet. And you could actually graph these on Desmos if you wanted, and you would see that they would meet at negative 5, 0. All right, let's go on to number 2. So number 2, let's look. I have to put a 1 in here because there was no number there, so we need to put that 1 in, and everybody else has a number. Now I have to look for same number, opposite signs. Here's a 5 and a 1, not same number, not opposite signs. Here's a negative 10 and a positive 5. Ooh, these have opposite signs, but they don't have the same number. So could I, using multiplication, turn this 5 into a 10? And I can by multiplying it by 2. Now because these signs are already opposite, we don't need to multiply it by a negative 2, just a positive one. So let's rewrite the top. 5x minus 10y equals negative 15. And now we have to multiply the bottom. 2 times 1x is 2x. 2 times positive 5y is positive 10y. And 2 times 11 is 22. Big old equal sign, throw a plus. We're eliminating the x's because they did have the same number with opposite signs, and we're adding the remaining. 5x plus 2x is 7x. Negative 15 plus 22 is positive 7 as well. Divide both sides by 7. X is going to give us 7 divided by 7 is 1. So we have x as 1. Now we're going to go back to one of the originals. I always just like to take the top one. It keeps things consistent. 5x minus 10y equals negative 15. I know my x is 1, so that's what's going to go down in here, substituting 1 in for x. 5 times 1 minus 10y equals negative 15. 5 minus 10y equals negative 15. Let's subtract 5 from both sides. Cross that out. Negative 10y equals negative 20. Divide both sides by negative 10. And y is going to be positive 2. I have my x, I have my y, so now I can write the ordered pair where they cross, xy, which is 1, 2. So that's how you solve it using elimination. There's one more, which is number 3. Let's look to see if we need to put any 1s in, and I found that I do have to put a 1 in here. Everybody else has a coefficient, a number. So let's look for opposite signs, same number, opposite signs, 1 and negative 6. They have opposite signs but not the same number. And negative 3 and positive 5, they do have opposite signs but they're not the same number. So I think I might cross out the x's. I can definitely multiply 1 times 6 to get a 6, and this would be positive. So I'm going to cross that out. So I'm going to multiply this top one by the number 6. So when I multiply, 6 times 1x is 6x. 6 times negative 3y is negative 18y, and 6 times 4 is 24. So these other two, I actually had to multiply the bottom equation. This one, I multiply the top. So it really depends on what number or what term you want to cross out. And so this one, I want to cross out the x's. So I had to multiply this by 6. This bottom one stays. Negative 6x plus 5y equals 15. Equal sign, big old addition. X's cross out because they have the same number, 6 and 6, and opposite signs. Now I'm going to simply add. Negative 18 and 5 is going to give us 13y, negative 13y, which equals 24 plus 5 is 39. Dividing both sides by negative 13, y is going to give us a negative 3. So here we have my y now. Now be careful because the last ones we solved for x. This one we solved for y, and that's fine. Just depended on what term we needed to cross out. So now I'm going to go back to my original, the first original one, which was 1x minus 3y equals 4. I'm going to substitute my negative 3 in for my y, so 1x minus 3 times negative 3 equals 4. So 1x plus 9 equals 4. Subtract 9 from both sides. Moving my paper down. I get 1x equals negative 5, and that's what I want. I want the value of 1x. This is just like I just found the value of 1y. So I don't need to go on. That's it. I know what 1y is. I know what 1x is. So I'm going to write down my answers in an ordered pair because we need to know where they cross, which is negative 5, negative 3. This has been solving systems by elimination. Must multiply 1. Hope it helped. Go on to your practice. Thank you.